You simply don't see Call of Duties or any World War II base shooter games made like this anymore. Call of Duty World at War is a first person shooter game produced by Treyarch and is the first game within the Black Ops timeline. It was released on November 11th, 2008. Treyarch announced that it would be named as World at War and it would take place in the Pacific Theatre of War as well as the Eastern Front. Now I was very young when this game first came out and I was absolutely horrified when I played it around my friends' houses as I wasn't allowed it at the time. Everything from the music to the characters, to the atmosphere, everything in this game screamed horrifying. But not only that, it was real. Now whilst just playing a first person shooter game, Call of Duty World at War gave you that feel of playing a little part of history that once took place. Now just like Black Ops 2, I could rant and rave about how good Call of Duty World at War was, from the campaign to the multiplayer and the zombies. However, you know the drill, we're going to be looking into the zombies that started it all. This is how Call of Duty World at War Zombies was horrifying. Call of Duty Zombies. Oh wait, I wasn't supposed to say that. Call of Duty Zombies was born 2008-2009. You finish the campaign. Everybody knows in today's society of what's about to happen, but the average player on this game didn't know what they were about to enter. Upon completing the campaign mode or being connected online, Zombies mode would be unlocked and includes Nacht and Toten. This would be the first ever Zombies map. Now, players must survive against endless rounds of the undead, boarding up windows, opening and clearing doors and debris, spacing up their utility room within the map, and using weapons as well as power-ups to their advantage and in their defense, which all involve points as the currency. Now, if you're looking for a bare bones Call of Duty Zombies experience, this is the all-time goated map for just that. It's the foundations of what Call of Duty Zombies is in today's society. Now, first off the bat, what do you notice that is scary with Nacht and Toten? The noises within Call of Duty Zombies have always been unique and have been something that just generates a certain amount of animosity and scare within the earlier maps. I would say towards the end of, let's say, Black Ops 3 and then going obviously into Black Ops 4, god, not even scary at all. The noises within Call of Duty World at War, specifically Zombies, was just another level. Being in a close quarter space, hearing all these noises in and around you but not seeing what quite is on the horizon just yet gets you panicking. And then you see a mysterious figure with glowing yellow eyes that appears to be a zombie, but not just one. You had a couple windows boarded up by barricades with multiple zombies coming from every angle, and thus your zombies experience starts. Now, if we fast forward to today and the community within Zombies, whenever there's messages painted on the walls or any sort of Easter eggs, people obviously go looking and then start theorizing. Whereas within Nacht and Toten, none of that was known to anyone. This was the first Zombies map, the first different mode that Call of Duty got, apart from obviously Spec Ops within Call of Duty 4. No one had any knowledge of the storyline just yet. And there wasn't really a storyline that was painted within the first map. And if you really think about it, it was the community that really drove the storyline and the theories that once became reality. And seeing all these messages and mixed messages on the walls, it got you thinking what happened here and what went wrong. Now, between the years of 2000 and 2010, there was a whole horde, no pun intended, of zombie games. One most notably that I played in my childhood was Left 4 Dead. So what could Call of Duty make that was different from the other games. Now, whilst having a World War II atmosphere and setting was already scary enough, something that makes Call of Duty Zombies unique is the hint of magic that they have. This most notably is the mystery box, and as well within the mystery box, the ray gun. Now, whilst you can have a zombies experience in basically any game that is based in a zombie apocalypse, the magic is where Call of Duty really thrived when it came to zombies. Having the magic such as the mystery box and their Wonder Weapon series really made that experience within Call of Duty that much more unique. You saw that ray gun and you're like, I have to have it. It's such an unusual yet in nowadays iconic gun, and you just look at it and wait for it to be within your inventory. However, if you died and you simply didn't get it, you would just go back into zombies and try and spin the box one more time. It was just an extra feature that really made Call of Duty Zombies what it is. And as well gives you a much better reward system. You can buy weapons off the wall within the map, however the better weapons as well as some really questionable ones lie within the mystery box. Now, one thing that linked Call of Duty World at War Zombies within the World at War campaign was that a lot of these maps were just reused from the campaign. Nacht and Toten you can find well within the campaign of World at War, as well as Verrückt within a multiplayer map. The thing is, you can probably get away with doing this on your first run of it. I don't think this would have worked if it was made in, let's say, Black Ops 2. But Nacht and Toten was the start of everything that was to come within Call of Duty Zombies. Verrückt, German for crazy or insane, also known as Zombie Verrückt Asylum or Zombie Asylum, is the second zombies map in the Call of Duty World at War, available as part of Map Pack 1, the first map pack for Call of Duty Zombies. It was later remastered and released as part of the hardened and prestige editions of Call of Duty Black Ops, and I cannot express enough how I wanted that as a little kid. I wanted the hardened and prestige edition of Black Ops, but hell, my parents kept on saying no, 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 fuck off. And later down the line, Verrückt was also remastered in Zombies Chronicles for Black Ops 3. Verrückt is special in its own right, not only for being the first map that was then buyable after the release of Nacht and Toten when World at War came out, but you could really see the dev team put in a lot of work in just looking and finding things to just implement within zombies that they could have a bit of fun with. Two things that are most notable to back this point up is the fact that you and, let's say, a teammate start on different sides.
We need to get these doors open! Don't leave me!
And then have to make your own way to get to the power. And not only that, the map is close quarter, the map is also terrifying. Probably, in my opinion, more terrifying than Mob of the Dead. Not only is it an insane asylum, not only is it set within World War II or post World War II apocalypse, not only did it have the horrific cries of kids, mums, patients, not only was there satanic writing all over the walls in some of the rooms, but to partner up with a close quarter map, factoring in all those scary aspects, you had the runner zombies. Not too sure on what they're actually specifically called, but they literally just sprint at you, making this one of, if not the scariest map of all time in the Call of Duty Zombies franchise. But reverting back to what the dev team did to play around with what they could bring to the table, not only did they start you on different sides of the map, perks were involved, specifically double tap, quick revive, juggernog, and speed cola. And you'll see a theme within the World at War zombie maps that they literally just pave the way for future maps, each adding something new that gradually all the maps would integrate. It's just something that I really feel Verrückt is rated high enough, but I don't know if it should be rated higher than it is. Verrückt is a much larger map than Nacht and Toten, having more than triple the rooms and features many more weapons and utilities The most prominent features are the Coca-Cola machines, which we've obviously already stated, and as well the turning on the power to unlock these cola machines. It was more than just boarding up windows and keeping the zombies out from the map itself. It was now more of a mission. There's more things to do to keep the zombies out, or to also aid yourself to prevent you from dying. And obviously the power switch is the feature of the electroshock defenses, which there's also a radio about that.
Electroshock therapy, chemically engineered beverages, hordes of undead Nazis. Find the power to unite and send them back to their graves. Can you believe that's how I actually described it back then? It was an asylum. It was also a horrible, terrible, grim, depressing place. I'd give you a full explanation of everything that happened there, but it would only be horrible, terrible, grim, depressing. Oh, fuck. You weren't there either. But then you were.
Verrückt really paved the way and saw the positive feedback that it was getting from the zombies community for it to then implement these same things within the future Call of Duty Zombies maps. Something that may have not made sense when doing it, but later down the line made a lot of sense, was the hand on the power. This was just a little glimpse into the story behind how all of this apocalypse happened, and really it would take shape and show the level of depth that the dev team are going to be putting into the future of zombies. Not only is it just going to be a playable mode that people get scared of, it also has a storyline that even further creates a monumental amount of depth into one mode that could have just seemingly been a scary experience, but now is something that we get drawn into not only for its aesthetics, but also the backstory of how it happened and what is to come for the future. And something that is now so iconic and tailored towards zombies in each and every single map is the songs. And this is where really it started having its own theme. Now whilst Nacht and Toten, if we revert back to that map, has a variety of songs that if you just keep on knifing the radio, it will then switch song by song, Verrückt had its own song that really just amplifies the experience that you can have on the zombies map when it has its own song tailored towards it, that also shares a little bit of insight into what was happening within the asylum. One thing I do want to point out here is that in my opinion Verrückt was aesthetically the best looking map out of its remastered versions, and when it first came to World at War it looked better in Black Ops 3. However, I think in my opinion Black Ops just absolutely nailed all of the remasters, for the simple fact that it kept the core emotions of the map and there wasn't too much that was different graphically. The bugs were taken out, and that's one thing I'm going to be covering with World at War Zombies. The bugs weren't there within Black Ops, and also the weapons weren't futuristic either. The weapons were very much within its time. But if you shift over to Black Ops 3, in my opinion, I just think that it's too futuristic and it really takes you out of the zombies mode as a whole. When it came to Black Ops 3, sure, I loved it, the maps were great, but when you have futuristic guns within, let's say, maps like Verrückt or World War II themed maps, I really do think it takes you out of the mode a little bit and kind of takes you out of that atmosphere and being scared. I mean, that could help, just be my opinion. Whether it's unpopular or not, if you're watching this up to this point, be sure to leave a comment on that. But Verrückt was really well done within Black Ops, and I think it just can't be matched, and that goes for all the remasters. Nacht und Toten, Verrückt and Der Riese were the best looking maps within its remastered versions within Call of Duty Black Ops. But World at War's first map pack, being Verrückt, really opened the eyes of the potential of what Call of Duty Zombies could be. Now you would have thought something that's more of a spacious looking map would be better, and Verrückt really changes that narrative of how close quarters and high adrenaline it is. I'll always back Verrückt to be the scariest map of all time within Call of Duty Zombies.
We're here. This is the place.
Finally. I was getting tired of Takio's rambling.
Shut up, Nikolai, and get your gear on.
Maggot-ridden corpses, bug-infested swamp, hundreds of undead Imperial army. Choose your tactic and defend for your lives. That's right, Map Pack 2 introduces us to Shi no Numa following Verrückt. Shi no Numa was first released in World at War on June the 11th, 2009 for PS3 and Xbox 360. Damn, that makes me feel old. Following its introduction within World at War, it then had its own remaster within Black Ops within the Resurrection map pack, and the zombie chronicles within Black Ops 3. Maybe without you realizing it, Shinonuma introduced us to a lot of new things. Retrospectively, it was one of those maps that posed us to a new point of view within the effects of zombies within that timeline within World at War. And this is something I really want to briefly just go on a tangent with. Something that was really cool around Shinonuma was that it drifted away from its general American soldiers going up against the German undead. Not only did we get 4 new characters, unique characters may I add, we also went up against the Japanese, giving us a glimpse of an insight into how this zombie apocalypse affected worldwide. And this is something that we can really truly see on a grand scale within Black Ops 2. So instead of loading up and hearing your general American soldier voice, we had 4 new voices. Them being Edward Richtofen, the man that we all know is at heart of the zombie apocalypse, and a German doctor, Nikolai Belinsky, a Russian soldier, Takeo Masaki, a bloodthirsty Japanese killer who uses World War II as an excuse to murder people, Tank Dempsey, need I even elaborate on his character, probably my favourite out of the 4. For the first time we saw all of these characters together, and this really again adds so much more depth to zombies than just a plain shooter keeping the zombies out or trying to spin the box to get a better weapon than you already have. Not only did each character give us insight to the zombie apocalypse from their experiences, but they all had different stories to tell, so we could all get to know how zombies affected them one way or another. And eventually we would see how their stories planned out as to how they all met within Shinonuma. So you first load into Shinonuma, and apart from all the new voices that we hear from the new characters, you see a hanging body. Straight off the bat, this gives a really unique feeling of unfinished business that was once here. How did this person get here? And by the time you can just think of that, you're already hearing the noises of the zombies appearing and obviously their new look. So you don't really have time unless later down the line you become a player that theorizes, why is everything happening? Is there a reason for everything happening? And why is this body where it is? And we will get to that. Just like Nacht and Toten and Verrückt, there was radios to be played. And as the maps went on, you could really have a more specific sense of what was happening within this apocalypse. This wasn't just people fighting against zombies. There was something really evil and menacing behind this. And as you go through Shinonuma, you see Element 115, a huge asteroid that would be pinnacle within zombies and the zombie storyline.
I wonder if that rock brought those freak bags.
This rock is not of this press. I think the Red Menace would be interested in this space rock.
This rock must be the element 115 comes from.
But also without the players knowing, we heard what the next map would be. Reese.
R-4808N 37 14 06 115 48 40.
I hope you're receiving this transmission, Peter. If you are not, then all is on lost. You must know by now that we found the
Stay there this time!
the experiment here. Location. The number is right. Giant must have been get a reasonable safe at all costs. The DD2 experiments continue. Might be our only advantage now. Find Dr. Maxim. They may know what's going on. The use of 115 is dangerous at best. I'm not sure we can continue here. We've lost most of our best. I hope you get this.
And this, going by what the radios were saying, was where everything went down when it came to the zombies. Now, as we know today, Element 115 was discovered by the Germans during the First Urthican Civil War in northern France. According to the radio messages in Shinonuma and Reese, is extensively used by Group 935. Element 115 is harvested from meteorites that have been found within Shinonuma and other maps. One of these meteors can be seen within Shinonuma. This was the only meteor to be found in the location. Meteor fragments can be found in other maps and can also be found in a red colour. They emit strange noises and have electrical pulses flickering across their surface. Element 115 was used to create the zombies, as one of its side effects was the reanimation of dead cells. The zombies were used to be a super soldier by the Germans. And this basically says everything that we need to know around zombies. It was supposed to be this super weapon to win the war that went horribly wrong. And this, for me, is the perfect storyline when it comes to a zombie apocalypse post-World War II story. In my opinion, I'm not all for the whole different multiverses and the different outcomes and stuff. I wasn't really about that, which is why I don't think Black Ops 3 was the best zombies experience. However, this right here, something so simple, something that is not just out of this galaxy with all the new outcomes and multiverses. It was something that was plausible and we could all try and figure out. Now, having a bit of understanding of what Element 115 is and what it was used for from the Germans, let's revert back to that hanging body that was terrifying everyone at the start of the map. His name was Peter McCain. He was an OSS spy sent to infiltrate Group 935 as a research assistant based out of Munich. He started working at the De Ries facility, which we'll later on get to know. He was suspecting Group 935 was losing the control over their experiments, which were the zombies, and from De Ries he was then transferred to the asylum, which is Verrückt. Within Shinonuma, you can hear a radio that is from the location of the zombie map Verrückt, sent for Peter McCain to receive. So already the storyline is shaping up to be huge. But straying away from the storyline, let's look at the gameplay and the stuff that was introduced within Shinonuma. For one, the Hellhounds. Once every 4, 5 or 6 rounds you get the Hellhound round. These undead dogs will come and chase you, and if you thought the sprinting zombies were scary, this was another level. But thankfully, as a reason why we all love the Hellhound round is that it drops us a max ammo at the end of every single round once you complete it. Not only that, it introduced a few cool things, such as the animation for the perks. So once you opened a door, a random perk would spawn in that location. Again, that's something new that the devs were working on and trying to make the experience that much more different. They didn't want to just put the perks in spots and that's where they lie. Shinonuma introduced them randomly, which made you explore the map. If you got double tap or quick revive, you're like, shit, I need Juggernaut or Speed Cola. You'd have to then experience and discover the rest of the map to get them. Not to mention one of my favorite all-time wonder weapons, the Wonder Waffer. My god, was this wonder weapon cool. My favorite looking wonder weapon as well, especially when it's pack-a-punched within Black Ops. That's where it just looked its absolute best. All fully gold. However, Shinonuma didn't have a pack-a-punch, so we didn't know that at the time. But one of the things that sticks out to me within Shinonuma is how you're able to discover the rest of the map and how you can transport yourself. This is through the different transports that you're able to take. Again, something cool that the devs were adding to the map. You have new gameplay features, you have an extended storyline that obviously is going into the next map, which builds tension within the ever-growing community at the time. It really got people thinking, what is actually going to come next? This is something that I'm just going to play the game for rather than the campaign or the multiplayer. Not to mention the round glitch where there was only a couple zombies each round, which made for insane zombie world records. We're talking hundreds of rounds. Shinonuma, again in its own right, each of these in their own right of these maps within World War Zombies, had terrifying gameplay, had a unique story building behind that, and was becoming more intense as the maps were released.
Everyone okay?
Oh, I feel like I will throw up.
A mere side effect, Russia. Everything is normal.
Let's get this done.
Oh yeah, bring it!
I don't think there's any room when it comes to introducing De Ries. De Ries, in my opinion, is probably the most fan favourite map there is, just alongside Kino the Toten. The giant is rising, face the might of the undead army in their heartland. This is where it all began. This is where the master plan took shape. Is this where it all ends? That's the description you get when you come across De Ries. De Ries is the home of Call of Duty Zombies. It introduced pretty much everything within Nacht and Toten to Verrückt to Shinonuma and collectively compacted it all into this map. Instead of just switching on a simple power, you had to link all the teleporters to the mainframe, thus adding the new element being the teleportation system, where you could teleport from wherever the teleporters are to the mainframe. Let's say if you needed to get out of a sticky situation. De Ries could be seen as the first map that really introduced the storyline and Easter eggs to Call of Duty Zombies, but for a lot of us it introduced probably the most notable and one of the most iconic things when it comes to Call of Duty Zombies, that would be the Pack-a-Punch. The Pack-a-Punch effectively is an upgrade system. It's a machine that, when given the amount of points to Pack-a-Punch, it creates different variants of the weapon you have, making it more OP, more pros than cons, and giving you different uses for each weapon, not to mention the Pack-a-Punch skin that it had. Again, giving that much more depth into Call of Duty Zombies and playing it. For everyone being the first time using Pack-a-Punch, it was an exciting time to be playing Zombies, and whilst we just take it for granted and see it as part of just being in a standard Zombies map nowadays, this was something incredible when it first came out. It had all the perks, it had the Wonder Waffle, it had the ray gun, it pretty much had everything you needed to have a lot of fun. However, what made it terrifying? This map pretty much served us with the first Easter egg per se. I think this is the first Zombies map where we actually look into the Easter egg more than we look into the gameplay. First off, it has its own song, which is probably one of the best musical Easter eggs that you could get in gaming history. How to activate this musical Easter egg: by going and pressing X or square, whatever console you're on the 3 green jars with a spine and brain floating inside. After all of these are activated, the song Beauty of Annihilation will play. There is just a whole host of Easter eggs within this map, planted where you can find them or planted where you actually can't. One most notably, the shadow teddy bear in the starting room. All the Easter eggs that I can find I will put in the background of this video, but it really just set up the atmosphere for the Zombies storyline and a great Zombies finale. It showed us the origins of the zombie apocalypse. It was an experiment gone wrong, and it shows this within the radios just like it did within Verrucht and Kino.
She's going to have puppies.
Really? Can I keep the puppies too, Father?
We'll see, Samantha. One step at a time. Initiating test number 3. Subject is within the test chamber. Activate power. Oh my God. Do you hold yourself and clean that up? Test number 3. Unsuccessful. Test subject has been reduced to the same state as previous subjects. Sophia, this letter is to go to the Reichstag High Command immediately. Open this door now!
I'm scared.
Don't do. Stay by me, Samantha.
Goodbye, Dr. Maxis.
This was seemingly the death of Dr. Maxis and Samantha, as Richtofen leaves them locked in with the Hellhound experiments. Need I remind you of the hide and seek Easter egg with that really creepy voice? Like, obviously it doesn't scare us in today's age, but imagine playing this for the first time and hearing these voices, like going through almost a horror movie, if you will, up from Nacht and Toten to De Vries, having that Zombies experience for the first time. A rundown factory, a rundown abandoned facility at the heart of where it all began. De Vries, in my opinion, is probably my favourite map, and by the looks of things, a lot of others within the community, hence why it's been remastered in Black Ops within the Resurrection map pack and when you first bought Black Ops 3 when it first came out. This, however, was then called The Giant, and probably the best looking in terms of art style when it comes to De Vries. Black Ops 3 really nailed it with the graphics, but coming to the conclusion of Call of Duty World at War Zombies. Now, whilst we can sit here and say, oh, it could have been so much better graphically, I actually think the graphics play a huge role in how terrifying Call of Duty World at War Zombies actually is. When you think about it, when it comes to new graphics and trying to make something look real, I think it somewhat takes it out, or takes you as the player out, within, let's say, The Giant on Black Ops 3. Whilst I think it's the greatest art style and looks great, I don't think it looks the scariest. In my opinion, when we go to World at War or Black Ops, I feel like, as I've already said, Black Ops really nailed the newer graphics, refining all the huge bugs, but keeping authenticity when it comes to De Vries, looking back on the World at War version. Whilst we love to associate the huge bugs and glitches that, you know, World at War Zombies and World at War as a whole had, that's probably the reason why people don't rate it higher than maybe it should be, because of these bugs. Everything was new. Everything was fresh. We had never seen anything like this before in any Call of Duty game. And since then, it's had the ripple effect of all the Call of Duty developers to have their own take on a Zombies mode. Has it hit quite like Treyarch Zombies has? I think that's a definitive no. But World at War Zombies just hit different than any other zombies. Black Ops I could probably put side by side in my opinion with World at War. I was terrified by Black Ops and I could do a video on that as well. But World at War Zombies had the noise, it had the atmosphere, it had the setting of post-World War II, it had these small Easter eggs at the start going towards a bigger picture and a huge story that would be taking place in Doris. It was a terrifying experience for pretty much everyone that first played it, and still is held up by the community as the scariest zombies experience. And just like last video, my most important question is, what do you think? Leave your comments down below, subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.